tries to push more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Hello everybody and welcome to round 6 of the Tail Racing Ring Runners. We've taken a bit of a change of pace from last week where we were in the LMP2s, the fastest car that we've used so far. Now we're going for, I think I'm right in saying, the slowest. It's the first time we're going for the shortest version of the Nordschleife. No Grand Prix circuit for us today, not even the shortest version of it. Instead, just the Nordschleife because these cars are incredibly slow. In fact, they're still doing slower lap times around just the Nordschleife than the LMP2s were on the Nordschleife Plus Grand Prix circuit last week. So very much a change of pace for us today. Myself, Ian Lear and James Parfitt with you for this round of the championship. And this is going to be quite an experience. We've had quite a run in recent weeks, actually, of cars that don't often race around the Nordschleife, and this is certainly one of those.
Yeah, definitely. A mini stock is not something that you get to see every day. Let's put it that way. It's not a car that is used a lot in series, and it's not a car that you will see running around the Nords very, very often. But we do have the scores on the doors before this event.
Yes, that's the race results.
Oh,
that's not.
Hold on. Nobody saw anything.
We'll get the right button. We'll get the right button pressed.
Okay.
Here we go. The championship standings. 10 points is now the margin between Kosick and Sadler. 8 of those were gained by Sadler in last week's race, as everybody else didn't really get very much closer, I'm afraid. Chase Petterjohn lost a point. Dylan Hesselink lost a couple. Tim Warcho gained a little bit, but he's quite a long way back from 5th place. Alexander Betos as well after missing a couple of races. Pat Mace is currently 7th place at AJ Condon, and Anthony Sereno, Anthony Solomon and Jim Cunningham have only been at one round so far, and they're 11th and 12th. In the pro standings, Evan Crutwell is leading the way, the reigning champion, but being chased down by Rick Putnam, who is only 1 point behind in 3rd. Curry Stas is there as well. The top 3 covered by just a single point. David Mull is 21 points back, with Dean Diltz running at the top 5. Jason Hightower is in 6th place, a couple of points ahead of Matt Green and Dave Hernandez. They've done the same amount of races. Ray Teo has only done 1. He is in 9th. As you join us, I think qualifying has just come to an end. It has indeed, and they're getting lined up on the Dottinger Hill. So let's have a look at the grid. Rick Putnam is on pole again, ahead of Curry Stas, having Crutwell to make it the same top 3 as it is in the championship. Jason Hightower is 4th, ahead of Dave Hernandez and Dave Mull. Pat Mace and Alexander Betas are on the front row of the AM field, followed by those who didn't set times. Matt Green and Aaron Smith running out the top 10. Tim Warcho and Dan Kosick on row 6, the AM championship leader starting from 12th. It is Anthony Sereno and Chase Petterjohn on the 7th row, followed by Scott Sadler and Dylan Hesselink rounding out the top 16. So, and that's how many we've got in the field. So, it's the same top 3 as we've got in the championship as we've got at the start of this race. And Rick Putnam's in the best livery I think we've seen so far this season. Oh, it's at the back, yeah. Oh, hello. Crikey. There we go. And he's got a mouth. Slowly Guacamole Motorsport. That's yeah, and this car's wide enough for you to ride it along the front bumper. So there you go. So we'll if we get bored, we'll just look at those two liveries because they're quite fun. So we'll do that. But we're about to get underway. I mean, Rick Putnam is in such a rich vein of form at the moment. Top 2 of the last 4 rounds in a row, and he's qualifying on pole for this one as well. Yep, should be good as we make our way into the final corners of the lap. It is Rick Putnam on the front ahead of Corey Stas, and there's going to be a pretty single file look to this on the way out of the first corner because, of course, it is the North Cypher. He's going to hit the gas pretty much immediately and get us underway for round 6 of the Tower Racing Ring Runners, and immediately it will slot into single file. Putnam, Stas, Crackrod and Hightower in towards turn 1. However, Dave Mull and Dave Hernandez go side by side. That's for 5th place as they run down the hill now towards the Hatzenbach. It will be Hernandez who takes the position, just ahead of Pat Mish, who is on the front now in the Anfield, ahead of Alexander Betas, who's been overtaken by the looks of things by Aaron Smith, who's moved up a couple of places into 8th, and he's moving up again here into 7th, ahead of Mesh, and oh dear, very nearly went off the road into the Hatzenbach, but he's through into 7th, and the AMs can now get on with their race, separate from the pros, back from 8th place on backwards.
Yeah, Patrick Masaki is leading the AMs at the moment, having a little bit of a blink around. Betas sitting in 2nd place. Watch out in there. Dan Cosset, Scott Sadler, Chase Petterjohn, and Dylan Hesselink has obviously had some form of issue to be 3 seconds back. I can't physically see anything as to why, but out in front, Putnam is absolutely dominating the field once more. It's half a second up the road already. Corey Stas tucked him right behind him. Interesting thing about the points there is the fact that obviously Corey Stas and Rick Putnam are on the same points with Evan Krautfeld 1 second behind. So the 3 of them, 3 championship leaders, breaking away, coming into Arenberg for the first time.
Yeah, it's pretty much whoever wins out the 3 of them will be the championship leader at the end of the day. That's the kind of situation we're in. I do wonder as well how much slipstream these mini stocks are going to offer up. I must admit, these cars, at least to my knowledge anyway, and I may be wrong, but to my knowledge, they only really do short track racing in oval circles. And quite literally circles, actually. And so it's not really suited to the North Cypher, but I'm also wondering how much slipstream they actually offer up, because when you're on a short track, even when you're talking about proper NASCAR Cup Series racing, there is not really much draft to be had on short tracks, and there certainly isn't in cars that only go as quick as these mini stocks do. So I'm not sure whether staying in the slipstream is going to be a really... of course, it will be a bit of an advantage. These cars are like bricks aerodynamically. They're not very well aerodynamically shaped. However, I just wonder how much effect the draft is actually going to have compared to what you'd normally expect from a stock car.
I can't really answer it until we get on to the home, to be honest with you, because I don't know how much they're going to have. I know their lap times are like 750s, so then they're not massive, they're not clearly not slow, and I'll be interested to see their top speeds when they get on to the dot and the hoe and see how they get on. But I think overall, I'm not going to say they're going to be draft efficient. Oh, Smith taking the grass to clear Dave Mole there, and he does manage to get through, but Aaron Smith taken off the grass to clear Dave Mole. Alexander Betas, who's been off the side of the circuit, we'll have a look back at that as we normally do in the highlight reel later on. Scott Sadler and Tim Watchow are having a nice little bit of a ding-dong further back.
Alexander Betas has dropped down the field, by the way, to 14th. We have noticed, but of course can't do replays until the end of the race, so we'll do that afterwards. But he has dropped back to 14th place. Unfortunately, Anthony Serino and Matt Green haven't got onto the grid, so we are unfortunately at 14 for the beginning of this race. This is the battle for the lead, though. Rick Putnam versus Corey Stas. This will be the first chance to get a view as to what the slipstream is going to be like. Putnam gets a better exit out of Bergwerk, but what can Corey Stas do now on the run up the hill? It's going to be a very long run as well, because these cars are not very fast. How effective is this slipstream going to be right the way up to the fast left-hander?
It's not really moving. we're 5.5 temps out. It's moving behind with Aaron Smith, but that is partly due to the fact he's tucked right in there. He's going to clear Dave and Anders. Dave in the Ford Mondeo livery, if anybody remembers that one from the BTC days, and Smith goes up the inside, gets a great job over Dan and David Anders, topping north of 130-ish, just about on that one. And Corey Starr still not getting any closer to Rick Putnam, and it's still a half a second. So the answer to your question is they're not very effective at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Smith, wasn't only able to get through on Hernandez because of his exit, but it was a large part of it. The fact that he got a good run, and actually it's worth complimenting on the start here, Aaron Smith. Only Scott Sadler has gained more places.
He's popped out.
Oh dear, Rick Putnam off the road. I was just looking away for a moment at Smith, and meanwhile Stas has gotten alongside Putnam, who's made a mistake at the carousel. Now Stas just lifts off on the way towards the left-hander. He decided that going 2x2 wasn't the smartest idea through there, and he's holding back for the moment, but that was a real chance to get into the lead.
Yeah, definitely for Stas there. He just kind of seemed to back out of it almost. Putnam did sort of bounce out of the carousel, and that's never good when you're doing that. You do end up being very, very slow there. Oh, Stas hold it. He's putting the pressure. He's putting the pedal on the metal, should we say, and trying as much as he can to get onto the back of Rick Putnam at the moment. But he's ended up bringing himself in closer to Evan Krautfeld than he has Rick Putnam. So unfortunately for Stas, we'll see how this one goes.
We will. Top four remain locked together here in the opening lap of the race. Now Smith will be gaining on them as well. As I was just saying before Putnam popped out at the carousel. He's made real progress here, Smith. He's gained 5 places so far in the race, up to 5th. And partly that's down to the fact that he didn't qualify, but even so, he's gained lots of positions so far. And Scott Sadler has 2. He's up 6, although one of those was given to him because Anthony Sereno and Matt Green, as I said, have not started the race. Sadler is right behind Pep Mace at the moment, although they're a second apart. It's not as close as this leading battle overall. I wonder whether the Dottinger will have a little bit of a different story here with regards to slipstream, or whether it's going to be same story here. We'll wait and find out, but Stas is not going to be getting much slipstream at all from Putnam because the gap has now increased to more than a second.
Yeah, 1.2. Unfortunately, it's going to be what Krautfeld's going to do coming into Kleins now. Going around Kleins, coming out the other side. It'll be up through Galgenkopf to see how they get on. And then through the right-hander down in onto the Dottinger Road. We'll see what sort of speeds they're maxing out here and seeing how they get on. Not a lot in the inside of this car dial-wise, is there? That's about it on that. You get speed dial in the middle, and you get 2 others that tells you how they're doing. Let's see how we're going to get on. 4 temps out, 3.9, 3.8, 3. Okay, so it's coming down for about 4 temps. Top in, are we going to get 3.140? Just, I think, on that one.
Are they going to bump draft here to bring back Putnam, or are they going to just battle between themselves here? Interesting decision, because Stas and Krautfeld, of course, are separated by 1 point in the championship. And by the way, Krautfeld's not there yet. He's still got to do some chasing it. And now I think he lifts off instead of bumping. He just lifts off. I don't know what would happen if you'd bump draft in one of these cars, but anyway, we might not even get to find out. So these guys say single file. The battle for the lead in AM will change, though. Muller's got past Dave Hernandez as well for 6th overall, but here is the battle in AM. Scott Sadler and the Googly Eyes is up to 8th place overall, and more importantly, the AM lead ahead of Pat Mace. That is a very good start from him to go right from the very back to the very front in just 1 lap. Yeah,
Sadler doing a great job there as well, sitting 2nd in the AM Championship at this moment in time. He is currently 9 points back behind Dan Kosick, but he is 2 places ahead of Mr. Kosick at the moment. Aaron Smith has got himself past Jason Hightower, and a great job there from Aaron. David Anders and Dave Mole are back on the racetrack, still battling away here once more. Hernandez, as I said, in that Mondeo livery-esque. It seems to be, if you put a livery on that car, you kind of change the look of it completely, don't you? Because it always does look like a Mondeo on that car.
I don't know whether it's meant to, or whether he's just made it look like that. He's just made it look like it, hasn't he, really? You can sort of do what you want with it. That's the great thing about stock cars. They sort of come very plain. You can decorate them how you want. Oh dear, that's a big slide, and Hernandez will lose a bit of time. It used to happen in real Cup Series racing as well. They used to just have the headlights on with stickers, like Pettyjohn has done here as well. I'm not sure if they still do, but anyway, you can just paint them on if you want instead.
Yeah,
because as you can see from Aaron Smith's car, it's just very plain. It just yellow all over.
Yeah, it's a good colour though. Let's be real about it for Aaron Smith. But yeah, we definitely know he's there. But that's the thing. I don't think anything's different. It's still stickers. I think Lightning McQueen said it right as well. You know, we don't have headlights because the track's always lit, and I think that's the same kind of thing. These cars aren't used to being on circuits that would involve it. Aaron Smith going side by side with Crutchfield now. He's going to try and run around the outside, is he? Crutchfield going to give him the room, he is. And Aaron Smith's looking quick. He was very fast in practice, was Aaron Smith as well. New into the series here today, I believe. This is his first run out.
I believe so. Can't remember if he was in last season or not, because I've slept since then, but he's certainly making his debut this season and making a very good show of this as well. He's now past Crutchfield. Will he get through on Stas? And if he does, will he be able to chase down Putnam and really give him a hard time at the head of this race? Going to be very interesting indeed, but time is not on his side here. Putnam is a second and a half ahead of Corey Stas, who was able to stay with Putnam through the opening lap, at least the first 2/3 of the opening lap. You might be expecting to do it again. There's Crutchfield's in the wall in the background. Oh dear, the championship leader in the wall in the background. He's not done terrible damage, well, actually, and he's down to 5th.
Yeah, it's broke. He's got Dave Mole coming at him quite at a rapid rate of knots. That car is going to be, as soon as he goes past that centre locker steering, that car is going to be very, very twitchy indeed. You can see Mole in the top right-hand corner, just beside the logo, closing in and closing in and closing in. He's not going to be, that car's not going to be very handy. He needs to get that back to the pits, because I can tell you one thing, it is not quite right on that one for Aaron Crutchfield, and I'll be very surprised if Dave Mole does not catch up to him very, very shortly here as well. Dan Kosick has also been off at the track, but Smith now closing in on Corey Stas.
Yeah, it's been coming here, and Smith is now there. He'll be getting the waft of a slipstream, but nothing much really on the way towards the muck curve, and that slide won't help either through Bergwerk. You can see the gap has opened up behind him now, because Hightower is not quite as close as Crutchfield was to him, and meanwhile, Dylan Hessling looks like he's gone for a spin.
Yeah, he has. We just caught the beginning end of it. Oh no! And then drives it straight into a wall.
I think this car's very suspensionally challenged now. Looking at these onboards, the wheels look like they're wobbling all over the place to me now. But for Dylan Hessling to come in and repair, I would have thought at the end of this lap, in towards the end of the straight they go. That is such a long, flat-out section in these cars. They'll be getting up to the carousel again here shortly. Will Putnam make the same mistake twice, or will he be able to get it into the carousel a bit better this time round? You'd imagine he'll learn from his error, and he won't do that again. Brake a little bit earlier and get yourself around there.
Yeah,
oh, he's not comfortable. He slid his way through, and he loses about 4/10, so he's still not quite nailed it.
No, it's a tough corner. You've got to be big and brave to put it on the inside, and you've got to, you know, really ride that inside line. And if you just apply too much pace or too much throttle, you end up going out. And at the moment, Putnam is struggling with the carousel. Well, I've got to be honest, though, it is the only part of the circuit he is struggling with. But unfortunately, that's the part that brings in Corey Stas and Aaron Smith. So we could have a nice little freeway fight developing very, very shortly here, whereas we're on lap 2.
Well, yes, it does bring them in for now, but luckily for Putnam, it brings him out right to his strongest section. He was able to pull out more than half a second, more than over a second, at Stas 1 lap ago through this final part, and you'd imagine he'd just be able to do it again. Stas staying close relatively so far, though, and Smith will be really hoping that he does, because I think Smith has got the speed to hold on to Putnam here, but it's just a case of getting into second and then actually getting that battle on now. But They're staying with him so far, and that's the most difficult section of the final sector done here. Putnam hasn't been able to get away, and so he's right there now in a three-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, he is, and he's going to be really... but Putnam, as I said, Smith looked quick in practice. He did look very quick indeed, and I think Putnam's got to try and hold on to this lead, because I even believe that Smith is quicker than Putnam. And that's no offence to Rick. He's gone and been on the podium 4 times in the last 4 rounds. But I do believe Smith is quicker. And I think if Smith can clear Stas, I don't think it's going to be long before he's up onto Putnam.
He's so close here, is Stas. And look at the... Oh, Stas goes wide. Almost let Smith through, but look at the gap that's created to Putnam. I'm not sure Aaron Smith will be particularly pleased to receive the position quite in that way, because he's now got to do the work to close back in on Putnam, and it's difficult to see how he might be able to do that without Putnam making another mistake at the carousel, although he does have to do the carousel 2 more times.
Yeah, he does, but I'm sure he's going to learn just to brake a little bit earlier. Doing the same thing 4 laps in a row, it's kind of a little bit, you know, that part of repeating the same process over and over and over again and expecting different results, and you get the same thing. It's the first sign of insanity, they call it, don't they? I'm sure Rick is not going to do that for the next 2 laps. I'm sure he isn't.
No. The problem, I don't think, for lap 2 was actually braking too late. I think he got too far onto the inside and so started sliding about up on the curb. So we'll see what he does this time. This is clever from Stas. He knows exactly what the score is here and is bumping Smith instead. Now, mini stocks don't often do bump drafting. I don't think they do any sort of long style, certainly not plate track racing, to my knowledge. So that would be a bit unusual to be bumped along in a mini stock. But anyway, the gap goes down to a 2.5 seconds. You can see Smith really having to work to get it slowed up in time because of the extra speed he's found. And over the lap over the line they go. Half distance complete now, and the 1.5 seconds between Smith and Putnam, who are surely the 2 favourites for this race.
Yeah, they've got to be. I think Corey Stas is possibly just in it is trying to get as many points as possible. I think that's the thing with Corey. You know, at the end of the day, he took the first one in the FF 1600, and then Putnam come in, and then it kind of, you know, he ended up on the podium. He had a sort of a bad F1, F4 round last time out in the P217. He finished 3rd, so it wasn't all that bad. But I think Stas's consistency here will help him. We have seen the likes of Putnam make a mistake. As I say, this is Smith's first race in this series, so we don't know quite what he's going to do. But I think as this goes on, we'll see these drivers evolve and hopefully see Corey Stas really putting the challenge into Putnam, because at the moment, I think Putnam's just got his number a little bit.
Oh dear, Stas has got that line wrong. Oh dear, he's lucky to stay on the road at Flugplatz there. And he will lose the draft now, what draft there is, from Smith. He will be consolidated in 3rd place now. So Stas will move ahead of Cratwell by the end of the day, but it looks like Putnam will be moving ahead of Stas. And now he's sort of willing Aaron Smith on. Smith can't be much of a threat in the championship, I don't think. But he could help Stas in a roundabout kind of way if he beats Putnam to the line and denies him a 3rd race win in a row.
Yeah. But can Smith get there? He's got a lap. What's he got? A lap and 3/4 almost, because they're about a quarter round. Is he going to be able to get there? Krautfeld and Mole have just swapped places. It took Mole longer than I thought it was going to be with a damaged car of Evan Krautfeld. So I'm surprised it's taken him so long, but he has cleared Krautfeld now as well. It's really weird how them tyres are kind of perched outwards on the front, aren't they? There's like the camber is like, I don't know, 20, 30 degrees either side.
It is a bit odd. I think it looks odder on Krautfeld's car because you can see more of the wheels because he's damaged his car. However, they do look quite bizarre nevertheless. I don't really understand the technical parts of these cars especially, because normally as stock cars you camber it up so that they're sort of good through the banking, but on short tracks there isn't much banking really. The kind of short tracks I'm imagining these cars race around, so I can't really understand how you'd set them up. Oh dear, that's a bit loose. And this is where Krautfeld, of course, made that mistake 1 lap ago. He won't be doing it again, you wouldn't have thought, as he takes a nicer line through the right-hander this time round. But I reckon he's got the speed to stay with Mull here. I know he's damaged, but he is quicker than Mull if all things were equal. So this could be a battle to the end between these two.
Yeah, right. I think what Crawford really wants to do is trying to stay in the draft, right, and let Mull try and pull him along. As I said, there's got to be some form of damage on Crawford's car regardless. He hit that wall pretty up hard. It's really hard with the steering wheel because there's no sticker to give us where centre is, but I think he's just to the left-hand side, 2 or 3 degrees there, that, you know, causing the car to be a little bit wayward. And then when as he comes through centre, it kind of loosens the car up, hence he's having to correct it on pretty much most right turn corners. So he is definitely damaged. Stay within the draft of Mull, and Mull should be able to pull you along.
Aaron Smith, meanwhile, has lost second place again here. He was chasing Rick Putnam, I think chasing too hard, if I could make a guess, looking without having looked. Oh, my word. Kevin Crawford there was locked the opposite direction there as he was trying to correct a slide. He's gotten away with that as well, and he will stay in the slipstream of Mull. Yeah, I think Rick Putnam now has a real golden opportunity to go and win this race. 2 seconds ahead of Corey Stas, who has shown that he's not able to stay with him. And Aaron Smith, I think the most likely one to stay with him, has made that error, surely giving Putnam a chance to go 3 in a row now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody's really going to be looking on being able to get a hold of Putnam. He's just too quick. Do you know where that livery is from, Mr. O'Leary?
No.
Okay. I will find it and I will send you the link, and then you will see what it is from here as well. If you're at home and you know where it's from, then obviously just put it in the comments, but on that one. But it is, there we go, it is on its way to you now, sir. That is where that livery is from.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Well, I don't have children, so that's that's a that's a big.
Yeah. If you are watching it back, I'll post the link of where it's from down in the description below, so you can have a look at where Rick Putnam's livery is from. But it's on a kid. It's off a kid's ride along toy there. Mull and Crutfield getting very, very close together. Crutfield still doing rather well considering his car is damaged, and I think if it wasn't damaged, I don't think him and Mull would be fighting this out here. But it is, unfortunately, and Dave Mull's doing a great job keeping him in front, keeping in front of him at the moment, kind of almost pulling him along. For Dave Mull and Evan Crutfield, it's Dave's more the sort of draft master, isn't he, or the pace setter as such here as well.
He is a little bit. One more thing on Putnam's livery, by the way. Are we sure that that is legitimately what he's modelled it on, or he just looks like that's what it is?
Do you need me to bring up Putnam's car to even have a look at that, what that picture is?
Well, no, I know they look remarkably similar, but I'm just saying he might have just made that livery, because I'm thinking of the cultural barrier here.
He's even got it on the front. He's even got the sticker on the front above the grille.
Oh, I see. Okay, fine. Yeah, okay.
Do you concede now?
I believe you now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, fine. Oh dear, crap, wound off the road. Yeah, I don't know. I just making sure. I'm just aware that we're in England, and that's not where most people watching this are.
I'm sure they have them in America. I'm 100%.
I don't know. They don't have pavements, so you know that doesn't.
What doesn't mean have pavements?
Well, not really. Anyway.
Oh, dearie me.
Sorry, America. We're about to get ourselves in trouble.
You are? All DMs to you and O'Leary, please.
Out of Gavin Gov they go, and onto the back straight. Stas has been caught a little bit by Smith, but it's not as close as this battle here. Is Krautwald going to struggle for straight line speed because of his damage? There's a bit of a hole in the front of his car, and I can't imagine that's helping aerodynamics. And even in the slipstream, you can see there the time gap is going up. He's suffering in a straight line.
Yeah, he is. And you can see Moles topping out at 147, just about. Krautwald down at 144, 143. So he's about 4 to 5 probably miles an hour, a little bit slower than Dave Moult at this moment in time, and is benefiting from the draft. And I think that's probably what's going on in the car right about now as well. He knows he needs to stay with him, because I think as soon as he stays with him, he'll just drop back. You know, I'm not going to say he'll drop back to Hernandez level, drop back, but he will drop back away from him there as well. Final lap of the race, Corey Stas ahead of Aaron Smith. So we'll have a look and see how that one changed over once more. And Aaron is now got to try and do it all again as chasing down Rick Putnam in that little Tykes livery machine.
Yeah, indeed. So let's see on this final lap, will there be another change? I think, as I said earlier on, Stas might have been hoping that Smith could go past him and go and beat Putnam. If I think Stas will be hoping that Smith beats neither of them or both of them here in this race, and now that we're on the final lap, he'll accept that Rick Putnam's probably gone and he's going to win this race, and so Stas, I think, he's going to do everything he can to defend, and perhaps more than he did in previous laps to defend this second place. Yeah.
I don't think this is over. Oh, look at him coming around the corner, literally sideways. Absolutely amazing. We say it's not over till somebody crossed the line, right? I saw Jason Hightower crash on the last lap on the last corner last season. We've seen people crash going down the Tiergarten on the last lap. It'll be over when Putnam gets over the line. That will be it for me, I think. Because I'm not going to call it now just in case anything happens in the process.
And by the way, he lost a half-second in the carousel even on lap 3 as well. I know he didn't really make an error, but because he was so scared of making one, he went slow enough that he lost about the same amount of time as he would have done making an error. So he's really uncomfortable through the carousel for whatever reason, and that is just going to be in the back of his mind as well. I do just wonder whether the others are close enough, though. Even losing half a second, they won't be able to benefit. And I think Aaron Smith there was, Adnar Forrest was being completely up over the curb. That looks exceptionally odd as he was going through there. But anyway, Stas will be able to benefit. 1.6 seconds. He's really got to start closing in. It's going to be so difficult to make this overtake on the final lap.
Yeah, but 1.6 seconds is still 1.6 seconds. Missick and Kosick were side by side. Kosick did get through on that one as well over Patrick Missick, so we'll take a look back to make sure there was no errors there. How's Putnam here? Where are we at this moment in time? We're nowhere near the carousel, so I'll be interested to see how he gets on through the carousel and what sort of time he's going to lose. Half a second, put him down to about 1.2. Yeah, I think that's going to be a tough one, to be honest.
It could be. Here they go into Versiphon. Big lock-up from Aaron Smith. By the way, in the AM Championship, Dan Kosick will be losing points for the second week in a row by looks. In fact, the fourth week in a row. Scott Sadler gained a point in the GT4, 6 in the F4s, and 7 last week in the LMP2s. And he'll be gaining some more as things stand, even if Kosick can hang on to second place here, because Scott Sadler is on his way to race victory right now. So it's going to be a closing championship lead. 11 points was the margin at the start of this race, and it's going to be less than 10, I would expect, at the end if things stay as they are. Dave Mullen, Evan Kratwald still fight for 5th place. Kratwald important to get this position, but he's not going to like that. He slaps the wall on the way out of X-Muller. That will be that. He will finish 6th at best.
Yeah, that's it now, and he's out of the draft range as well, so whatever damage he's got to try and nurse it back to the end of the lap or the end of the race if he can. Smith here just needs an opportunity. Politely, he needs Stas to let him through, because I think he will be able to pull them forward to Putnam. They've only got half a lap before they get up to the bottom of the hose, so I'm going to be interested to see whether or not he's going to be able to handle it there. But yeah, they just, I don't know. Smith, great in practice and was fast in practice, but I don't know if he's done something to the car here, because he's just not quite got it to be able to clear Corey Stas at this moment in time.
Yeah, I think he was trying to help Stas with a bit of bump drafting there, actually, rather than go through, but now he's really got to just put his mind on second place and no more than that. One final time through the carousel, And it is fourth time lucky for Rick Putnam, although he loses less time than he did before. He still lost 3 attempts. I still think he could do with a bit more practice. But anyway, I'm only joking. He is winning the race, so can't be too critical of him. But he's probably pleased that the carousel's behind him for the final time this week now, as they go through Horak. Now it's between Stas and Smith for second, unless there's an error. Putnam is going to get 3 in a row here.
Yeah, he's almost looking like the dead cert in a horse race at the moment, is Rick Putnam. But you just never know, it's Nords. If we were anywhere else, yeah, I think if we were anywhere else, I would sit here and say Putnam's going to win. But the fact that he's just lost 3 attempts through that section as well, I don't know if he will. And the fact is, it's Nords. That's all I'm just going to keep saying. If it was Interlagos or Silverstone or anywhere generally easier, I would sit back and say Putnam's on for the win. But yeah, it's Nords.
It's true. It's true, and it's down to 1.3, so 8 attempts lost through this section where he really stretched out the margin on laps 1 and 3 especially, although that's an error from Stas. Smith is going to have a chance now into Flanscott, and you'd be surprised to see a move there, and he won't make it, thank goodness, because in some ways, because you do get not quite off the air in these cars, but off the ground, I should say. But it's a dangerous corner slide from Stas. You can tell he's trying. He's trying as hard as possible, but it's just too little too late here. Smith in the grass as well. These two are both on the ragged edge, pushing as hard as they possibly can. Another huge slide from Stas. And surely, Smith has to avoid him. He's off the road now as well. What a save that was in the grass. He's somehow still pointing in the right direction. Putnam will be up the road. This battle for second place is not over.
No, it definitely isn't. Smith held on to it. I can tell you what, Stas probably wishes he hadn't, but he has. And he did hold on to it, Smith, now. So this is going to be a straight run. No! Oh. Is he close enough? That's going to be the question. Is he close enough in the draft? I'm not sure either, to be honest.
I'm not hopeful for Aaron Smith here at all. He's got a decent run through Gavin Copp. He's just thrown it away at the end here by pushing that little bit too hard. He's thrown it. It's been quite a calm and considered race from these 3 so far. But in these last couple of moments, he's been a little bit ragged, as has Stas. It's not quite over yet, though. As I said, he got a good run out of Gavin Copp, so he will use that as well as the slipstream here, the multiplier effect, if you like. And as they make their way up to the end of the Dottingham, it might be on here. Aaron Smith might have a chance, but don't forget, under the Bilstein Bridge, what a corner this is in the mini stocks here. Round the outside for Smith, this could be quite dangerous. Here he goes, they just about both make it through. You can see them sliding all over the place.
He's got him.
And into the tier guard, he gets it. Stas just gives it up. Smith slides on his way through, and he will finish second in this race, behind, of course, Rick Putnam, who's on his way to win 3 in a row and 4 overall in just 5 appearances here this season. Season 4 of 2024 is going absolutely fantastically for Rick Putnam, who is now the leader of the championship, ahead of Corey Stats, who'll be in second, retain second place anyway, and Evan Kretwell will be down to third after another dominant display from Rick Putnam.
Yeah, he absolutely is awesome. I'll tell you that much. He got away. He just did what he needed to do and led and won the race. The guy is on an absolute high. Yeah, Scott Sadler takes the win in the AMS in... I don't really know what to call that machine, but it's very funky indeed.
The googly eyes have worked because they've won both classes today. So there you go.
So is that the lucky?
That was,
yeah, that's the
we're
lucky
going to see lots of googly eyes next week for the Mustangs. I'm going to suggest, because it seems to have been the winning formula for Scott Sadler and Rick Putnam. So there you go. Dan Cusick did hang on to second place, by the way, but he will lose some of his championship lead. And while one championship really starts to get taken a hold of by Rick Putnam, the other is a slipping grip of Dan Cusick, who, as I say, was leading the championship right after the opening round of the season and has led ever since. However, Scott Sadler has gained points on him now 3 weeks in a row, so it is going in the right direction. Sorry, 4 weeks in a row now. it's going in the right direction as far as Scott Sadler is concerned, and not for the championship leader.
Yeah, no, not at the moment. Sadler's on a wave of success as well. So he's got to keep that going into next week and the week after and the week after to really close that gap up. Obviously, we've got the great equaliser that if we go into Duck Week and both of these championships are wide open and anybody can win, then, you know, Duck Week's going to equalise it, right? We don't know the car. They're going to be on fixed setups where they're on open for this one. So I think, yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting indeed if we do get to the final week of the season. But Dylan Hesselink wraps up the win there on that one. And we can have a quick look at the results before we go into the replay mode.
Be replay time in a few moments. 2.6 seconds the margin for Rick Putnam ahead of Aaron Smith, with Corey Stas overtaking on that very final lap. It's Jason Hightower and Dave Morley round out the top 5. Ewan lost his chance to get back in the top 5, of course, with 2 clashes with the Wolves today. Dave Hernandez finished 7th, as just ahead of the Scott Sadler. Dan Kosick loses some of his championship lead, but hangs on to 2nd, ahead of Patrick Miss. Tim Woolshow just outside of the overall top 10. Alexander Bettas, the first driver, over a minute back, and I suspect his incident early on will be one of the repos we're about to see. Chase Petterjohn likewise, Dylan Hesselink likewise, Matt Green and Anthony Serino did not take the start. So, as is tradition, look at some replays from that race. Starting down early on the opening lap with Alexander Bettas in towards Arenberg. Didn't seem to brake too late, but just spun.
Yeah, it was just quite random, to be honest. He did just kind of the back end come out. I don't know if it's because he carried... Let's have another look and see if he carried too much speed in. Yeah, he might have been...
Probably,
yeah, he carried a little bit too much speed in as well. This is Chase Petterjohn, his defining moment on the racetrack here.
This is on lap 2, I think, into the Hats and back. A bit too fast.
Yep.
He goes for a spin. Of course, finished 13th in this race, and that certainly didn't help him on his way. Look at what happened to Dan Kosick. So I think he was leading at one stage, Dan Kosick, but is this why he lost the lead? Not particularly. He was already not in the lead by this point, but just ran a little bit wide, and that certainly confirmed his position. Dylan Hesselink in the background. We saw him hit the wall at Exmuller in the very next corner, but what happened to him the corner previous? He just ran a bit wide into the grass, and then I believe it was the very next corner anyway, where he broke too late and smacked into the wall.
Yeah, this is the one, I think.
Oh no, this is a bit further out.
Hold on, let me see if I can go back. No, that's the one we just said. So it's after this. This is all from lap 2 for Dylan. It would be lap 3, I think, where that moment came that we saw. But I think a lot of these are just running wide, and yeah, they're sort of minor little ones for him. Kosick again has another moment, but this is battling away with Patrick Misek in the 664. I think he just runs out onto the side of the track. He does manages to keep on. Yeah, well, he held it, so can't complain.
Well, yeah, I suppose, but that's quite scary. This is Dylan Hesselink again. As I say, I think there's a lot of this is running wide, and the only other crashes I think we've really seen. We saw it live with Evan Crowell, the only other driver I think to actually hit the wall, and here was his last one, just coming out of Exmuller.
Yeah, he got it all a little bit, and just hits the barrier. The problem is there's nothing for the first one because it hasn't registered that he's had an issue. It didn't actually show up that he's unfortunately crashed, but Chase Petterjohn did have a crash.
Okay, yeah. Through the carousel. It's a difficult corner. Flipping the inside curb. Well, not the inside curb, but the sort of the flat part towards the just at the bottom of the banking. He goes around, but he's gets back on again. Didn't see much of Tim Woolshow actually today, but he finished outside the top 10 and couldn't quite save that slide. Just scraped along the wall.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I want to have a look at where Evan lost quite a lot of. There's Hightower passing him, so it might be.
This is the one, yeah. This is where he lost his initial damage. There you go.
That was it.
upon the curb and slid around into the wall on the right-hand side. So that was that as far as Evan Krautmann's race was concerned, really, because after that he was just really struggling, to be honest, with damage. But that's it for the replays as well. A very slow speed race, I've got to say, but that's what you get when cars that can't even hit 150 miles an hour. A real change of speed from what we had 1 week ago, but not bad. I can't help but feel these cars maybe not quite so suited to this track.
Yeah, but then that's the purpose of what we're doing, right? Because if we look at the schedule, we've got the Mustangs next week. Then the Porsche Cups, TCRs, which we've seen, Mazdas I'm looking forward to, Arcas, not really suited, and the Radical SR8 after that, which can handle this circuit. So I think there's still some good cars coming up. Ones particularly I'm looking forward to, Mazdas, SR8s, and what they can do in the Mustang next week.
Yeah, one I'm particularly looking forward to myself is TCRs. I think would be good. So that's coming up in a few weeks' time as well, at the start of November, 3 weeks. So looking forward to that as well. But still plenty more to look forward to, of course. We'll be back with the Mustangs next week when we're on this same layout of the North Side, this same short layout, but it will be a short race. These Mustangs are a lot quicker than these mini stocks, I would have thought, around a lap. So make sure you join us again in a week's time, I believe, and hopefully we'll be back again for that one as soon as the race is on for round 7. But for now, until we see you next week for the Mustangs, I've been Ewan Leary. I've been alongside James Parfitt for this round of the championship. We'll see you in a week's time for the round of the Ford Mustangs. Goodbye for now.